we are recording.
All right, so Jen, now we're just going to go to the first thing on the public hearing, the Plymouth Street variance, use variance.
We are. I don't see the applicant here though.
I don't
so-
either.
Yeah, neither do I.
Oh, maybe Mr. You need to be unmuted.
Is there, what's it, Barn?
Are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
representing the Latolas?
Yes. Yeah, Paul Costello. I'm an attorney in town. My office is at 44 Pleasant Street. And I'm here. I don't know if you're aware, Paula Latola had some kind of a medical emergency last week and she's not available for the hearing. So I am here on her behalf.
Okay. All right, so Jen, I know last time we had the question as to notice that was remedied, I'm understanding.
It was. We did the notices. We sent them via what is it called, Jasmine?
Certified receipt.
Certified receipt from the post
Certified.
office. Jasmine has scanned all those receipts in and has those available if anybody would like to see those, but they were all sent and we did receive some back as not received. So we did know that they did go out.
Okay, all right, so under this application by Ms. Latola, I think it's
Barnfield Inc.
Yes. Looking for a use variance under section 11.23 in relation to constructing a single family home in a, I think it's in a
Commercial
business.
zone. Business B.
Business district.
Yep.
So I guess the first question is, you know, under section 11.23, we're somewhat limited in our ability to grant the variances. So if you could help us understand what it is about this property which makes it different than others where it would need the use variance, other than the fact that it's in business, which you can't do a residential in business. But I have one general question. I was thinking of this on the drive home regarding this is, did the Latolas own the property prior to or subsequent to it being zoned as business?
Yes, this property or title of the property goes all the way back to the father, Paul Latola. I couldn't even guess when he took title. The deed into the present owner came from, I think, the heirs of Paul Latola into Barnfield. And I believe that was in 2007.
But that it was family owned. It's just through inheritance. And so was it, when did this, I'm sorry, when did this get zoned? Does anybody know when this was zoned business district? This parcel of land?
I do
No,
not
I
know.
don't off the top of my head. No.
I do not know.
One of the first things that comes to mind is, you know, if this were a change that had occurred in the last 6 years, you know, this petition, you know, could be approached by way of a special permit. And but again, I don't know when the use designation took place or the change. I'm sorry. And in speaking to Paula Latola today, she wasn't sure. But I think it's probably far enough back in time that the point I just made is probably not applicable.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Costello, if you would like to present and help us understand why we should be granting a use variance, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. I assume that all of you have a copy of the site plan that
Yes.
was submitted with the application. And the site plan depicts the proposed dwelling on the lot. And as you can see, we have a limited amount of upland within which or on which to construct this proposed dwelling. You have a very narrow strip of upland that constricts their ability, in all likelihood. They would have difficulty putting a septic system onto this lot. Fortunately, back I think 3 or 4 years ago, this area was stubbed for town sewer. So this, as you can see from the plan, the proposed dwelling would be connected to town sewer. Again, you can see from the plan that you have wetlands in the what would be the easterly portion of the premises. Again, for that reason, you know, the location of the proposed dwelling it can be no closer than 50 feet to the wetlands under the town wetland bylaw. The other point I would make is that given the fact that these wetlands extend, you know, in both a northerly, southerly, and easterly direction, it really limits the area within which any kind of development can take place, whether it's commercial or residential. I would point out that virtually all of the homes, all of the structures on Whitman Street are residential. This dwelling, if this application is approved, would serve in effect as a buffer from the commercial area, you know, the 18 acres that's to the east and to the south of the subject premises. And it would obviously be in keeping with all of the other homes that are located on this street. It is, in my view, the highest and best use for this property. And again, I would argue in the alternative here that it is zoned commercial, and in taking into account what would be in the best interest of the neighborhood in terms of its look, its makeup, this commercial designation technically would allow someone to put some kind of a commercial enterprise onto this lot. And that would not be a win-win. It would be a lose-lose for everybody involved. As I say, this home is a single family home. It would virtually have no impact on the neighborhood. It wouldn't change the look or the character of the neighborhood. And again, I think taking into account the fact that you have soil conditions to the east, you know, that really limit, you know, what you can do by way of development for this lot. I think, as I've already said, any kind of commercial development would be impractical. It wouldn't be in keeping with the neighborhood and its look. And I think that it would not in any way derogate, you know, from the intent of the zoning bylaw, would not in any way be detrimental to the neighborhood because it's in keeping with what is already there. And again, it is almost exclusively single family residential use. And as I say, from that standpoint, again, approving this petition and this variance is the highest and best use for this property. And in my view, something that would be in the best interest of the neighborhood.
Mr. Costello, quick question.
Yes.
If I was standing looking at this lot, the lot to the right, is that the one that has the existing house on it now?
No. Well, let me go back and yes, no, it's the next one down, I believe. 43. This would be parcel 54, as it's shown on the assessor's map, and I think 47 is, so it would be one lot down.
So 53. This is the one. With
I'm sorry, I misspoke. You have the existing home that was built, I believe, in 2017. And then you have another vacant lot, and again, that would be 43 Whitman. Further down in a southerly direction, Steve.
Okay, I see 43. So what's this? This says lot 1 on my paper. So
our locus, these premises are shown as lot 1 on a Form A plan that is dated March 3rd, 2020.
Okay, so again, the question is, as I see it on here, I have lot 3, which if you're facing the lot we're talking about is to the right of it. Is that the lot 53, that has the existing home that was recently built?
Bear with me one second. Yeah, it's lot 53. I'm sorry. I was just trying to find, I've got my assessor's field cards here and I've got quite a few of them. So yes, 47 Whitman Street is lot 53 as it appears on assessor's map 24.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Jerry or Anna, do you have any questions for Mr. Costello?
Mr. Costello, what is the hardship?
Well, if this petition were denied, it would, as a practical matter, I think, render the lot virtually worthless. The limited upland obviously creates a situation where there is only so much you could do with respect to this lot. And again, I would say that it's zoned commercial, and if somehow someone could put a convenience store there or something like that, I mean, I don't think that's in the best interest of the town or the neighborhood. But again, with respect to the hardship, and again, a commercial use there is impractical. It's just out of character with the neighborhood. And as I say, if this petition weren't approved, it would essentially render the lot, or the value of the lot, to zero. And again, I think, for the reasons I've stated, I think given the shape of the lot in terms of the narrow window within which development can take place, you have the soil conditions to the east of the lot. And I think, all of this fits into the criteria that would allow you the discretion to approve this request for those reasons.
Okay. I think you make a good point in relation to the location of the lot and what's around it. You have wetlands behind it, a house to the right, a lot which I believe to the left of it is unbuildable because there's water conditions there. So the lot would be rendered useless. But
yeah, that intervening area, to the left as you look at it, the house on the other side of it, in terms of the area that you're talking about, is 85 Whitman.
right.
That's the next house down. Yeah. And again, as you can see, the wetlands, or at least it's shown on the Form A plan, the upland on that area in between, our locus and 85 Whitman, it's almost entirely wetlands. And as a practical matter, there's very little that could be done. There's a drainage easement that runs through it as well. So as a practical matter, there's nothing going to happen with respect to that remaining piece of what fronts on Whitman Street for the reasons I've just stated.
Okay, Jerry?
I agree with Attorney Costello as far as the highest and best use, and also looking at the fact that a variance was granted in 2016. Attorney Costello, any reason why it wasn't acted upon back then?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know that this is the Tollas are well known in town. They are never at a loss for things to do, and I suspect that just because of the market and the level of activity that we've seen over the last 3 years on a pretty much an ongoing basis, I think it was just a matter of their choosing to move to other projects that were of greater benefit to them. But I'm speculating.
Okay. I feel the same way you do, Mr. Chairman, that it does seem to be more in keeping with the surrounding area as opposed to a commercial use.
Okay. I'd like to open it up to understand what, if any, issues some of the neighbors might have. I'd like to hear that to help understand. So Jen, if anybody's in the waiting room that has a question or
Yep. So we have a hand raised by Jeremy Warshaw. So I'll unmute Mr. Warshaw.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Hi, Jeremy Warshaw, 66 Whitman Street, which is directly across the street. Couple things. One is, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago when they went before the board. They were looking for three places or three lots. I believe it's the one directly in front of me, the one to the right, which is the existing house, and then one to the right of that. They were denied the one directly across from me because it was too wet. They were given the two to the right, if I recall correctly. Anybody aware of that?
yeah, we knew they were given 2 lots, as we kind of alluded to here. They did develop one, and the second one lapsed, so they're back.
Right, but I believe the one to the right of the existing house was the other lot that were granted.
That I don't. So 47. Steve or Jen.
Yeah, it would be a lower number. Yeah.
Yeah, the one, with the one to the right of the house that's existing was
Yeah.
those 2 lots were the ones that were approved originally by a variance. So the one that's built and the one to the right of that was also approved, which of course by now it has lapsed. It's the variance has run out on it.
Right. So that would have been the lot 47 to the right of the existing.
Mhm. Yep.
Excuse me, lot 54.
So my question is, why are they going for this one when they were told it was too wet or it wasn't suitable the first time?
Can I respond to that?
Certainly, Mr. Costello.
Mr. Warshaw, again, with respect to this particular lot in question, this lot is to the north of the 2 lots that were approved back in 2017. If I follow what you were saying, I believe, you're mentioning an area or a proposed lot, I don't know, to the south, heading more toward Plymouth Street. And I can't speak to, any of the soil conditions, wetlands, or any of that. All I can tell you is that, going back and looking at the hearing and the variance that was approved back in 2017, 16 to 17, it was based on, a 2-lot Form A subdivision. And all of the paperwork, throughout references only 2 lots. So, I don't question what you're saying, but as I say, I can only go by what the record shows. And it appears from the record that the only thing that was under consideration at the time that the former application for variance was brought before the town in 2016, that it appeared that the only thing that was under consideration with respect to that proceeding was the variance that were granted for the 2 lots, one of which has been built on. And that would be 43 and 47 Whitman.
Yeah. All right. So another comment I have is the notices were receipt, I believe, were sent receipt, return receipt.
No, they weren't sent certified return receipt. They were, because when we did the cost after that meeting, it was cost prohibitive. So they were sent with a certificate of affidavit of mailing by the post office, which the board was made aware of prior to the mailing.
All right, that's the only comments I've got at the moment.
Thank you.
Bill Thomas would like to ask a question.
Sure. Mr. Thomas?
You're on mute. I just,
Okay, there you go.
you don't appear to have sound.
It's not on, now it's mute again. Now it's off.
So I can hear you now.
Okay,
Thank you.
we're trying to work with a different computer and we don't know how to do it, so I'm sorry. It's actually Robin Thomas of 25 Chacusa Circle, John Bucant of 35 Chacusa Circle, and William Thomas of 25 Chacusa Circle. Sorry, Mrs. Latola is not well, and I assume you her representative or attorney.
Paul Costello, I'm her attorney.
You're her attorney. Okay. I was lucky enough to get a hold of her application, and her application also includes her 2016 application, I believe. Yes? Is that what you all have?
Yes.
No. I believe the chairman told me 2 weeks ago that this is supposed to stand on its own and it shouldn't include former applications. Am I correct?
I mean, she has to fill out a new application by itself. She can include the old application, but it's not pertinent to the new application.
All right, so it's not pertinent, so it should stand alone, correct?
I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
Okay, well, my point is I've read through the application. And as I've read through the application, she keeps referring to plans from 2016. And she keeps referring to letters from 2016 that are supposed to apply to this application for 2021. So I'm a little confused how that's possible, where the plans for 2021 are really not representative of what's going on. I mean, for 2016's plan aren't representative of what the land looks like today. The topography is not the same. The wetlands aren't the same. This building she's built on Whitman Street has created more wetlands than existed in 2016. The runoff from that house, the way the water comes off the street, everything is different. So this lot, which Larry built, it doesn't show what's actually going on there. This is actually from 2016. So I don't know how that's a possibility to go by. And I also looked at her application, which says very clearly that she doesn't have to go through Concom, she doesn't have to go through planning, because all of that has been approved prior. And after speaking to
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Can I? Yeah. Have you seen the site plan that was filed with the application? This is the current site plan that's part of
understand.
this application.
But you did not get any approvals from Concom that these things are correct.
So
The
this application is strictly for the use, for the variance of the use of the property. It's not for the construction of a house. If she is successful in this variance and gets approval for the use, she will then have to apply for a permit to construct the house. And at that time, if the construction of the house impacts the wetlands, she will need to get permit from the Conservation Commission to construct the house.
But
She
when
does
I
not
was-
need permission from Conservation Commission for this application to determine whether or not the use is allowed.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but in your questionnaire, it's very clear she's supposed to attach certain information to pass over these questions. And she says she doesn't need that information.
She doesn't need that information for this application.
Yes. I mean, our jurisdiction is limited. The only thing we can do is determine whether we can give her a use variance. Then she has to go, great, she's got a use variance. Say we give it to her. She can use the house, the land to build a personal residence. Now she's got to go through all the other departments in the town to get a permit to actually build. We don't
Okay.
have any purview or any say in any of that. Ours is strictly to say, what's the best use? Can we give a use variance for this property, given its location, given the soil, the conditions? It's, you know, that's the only thing that's in front of us now. And I'm not trying to push it off to anybody else, but I'm just
No,
saying that's all we can do.
That's fine. So how is it possible that she could, I mean, where the soil has changed so much since 2016 and her building on beside it has run off so much that how can she possibly build on that property? That's what I'm asking. If you're zoning the property for a building that she wants to build because she says she's got a hardship, how can she possibly build on it? How is
Just
it a buildable property?
just because you have a piece of property that's zoned for something, doesn't
Right.
build anything on it.
But she's looking for a residential property based on a hardship.
No, she's looking for a use variance before us. All she's looking for is a use variance to say that this is located in a business district, this property.
Right.
You can't construct a residential home in a business district.
Right.
She's coming before us and through her attorney, Mr. Costello, and saying, hey, look, here's the circumstances of this. I've got a house to the right, a house to the left. I got wetlands behind me. The only good use for this is to put a house. You know, if I could put, as he said, a convenience store, which, I mean, it's in a business, it's its own business. You could put one there. I'm not sure how that would fit with the neighborhood. I don't think it would cause any more or less issues than a house. Again, I'm not positive, but right now we're just trying to determine, is there good justification based upon the property, its location, the neighborhood, the bylaws? Can we grant a use variance? After that, she has to go to Concom, building, pull permits. You know, we had another situation at the earlier meeting. You know, you can't build something and create more water issues. They'd have to come up through Concom and through the building commissioner with plans as to how they were going to remedy any issues caused by the construction of a home.
Okay, I understand that. So, and you, Joan, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find all your people. Her attorney, are you? Yes. there you
Here,
are.
I can see you.
Okay, yeah, I know. But I
I
like
don't know
to
if you
look
can see
at-
me,
I'm
but I can see
sorry.
you.
You don't have an answer as to why she didn't build the first house, but she built the second house? Let me say, my concern there was in the first variance that the zoning board granted to her. I read through that, and there were sort of promises made that she was going to bring the utilities through and, you know, be on town sewer, bring up town water to that second house. And that all kind of fell through because she didn't build the two houses. So the promises that she made to the town all went away.
Respond to
So,
that, just to that point, that
Sure.
that area has been stubbed for town sewer. So that's been done. So if now again, as the chairman has pointed out, the variance that was approved back in 2016 has expired. So to the extent that an effort were to be made to try to develop the now vacant lot, she would have to go through at least, a request, from the Board of Appeal to revive it. But that would be, subject to the same open meeting criteria. You would have an opportunity to come forward and to voice the same objections that you're voicing here today if you felt that was what you wanted to do. But again, her right at this point to construct a home on that vacant lot, the lot that remains vacant. The time or the authorization for her to do that has expired. So as
Oh,
I
I
say,
understand.
yeah, to come back, if she wanted to develop it, she would have to go back before the Board of Appeal on that issue to get reauthorized to build on that lot.
Paul, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but as Ms. Thompson pointed out, I vaguely remember, and my memory's bad, that
Welcome to the club.
town sewer was supposed to go to this property. Is the existing house on lot 53 on town sewer, or is that septic?
It's town sewer.
It is, okay.
Yeah, this house, this law, if this application is approved, it will also be on town sewer. And if, again, back when they did this, and I wasn't involved then, but, it was that the whole area was stubbed for.
Oh, yeah, that's what I
town
thought. I
sewer.
thought it was, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to bring it all the way up. That was the
Um,
agreement they made. It was promised through that agreement. And where they didn't bring it up isn't that, this is why I don't trust it. They make promises, they don't follow through. And, we thought we were going to get 2 houses there to make it contingent and look nicer. She left that property open. Then the whole front of it turned into sewer pipes and fencing and huge piles of dirt and tar and trucks. It's unappealing to look at. And then we've got this one house further back. It's not going to look the same. It's not what you're envisioning. We live here. It's not this pretty little neighborhood. It used to be a pretty little neighborhood, but it's not now. A little bit of open space and green and marsh area is much more welcome. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, but the other side of that we have to consider as well, and this is in the hardship part of it too, is that if a house could be built somewhere, but everybody doesn't want it because they want to see green, it's great for everybody else that doesn't own the property.
Well, of course, but she has a lot that has been approved. Build there. She's got acres. Build there.
Well, she
She's
can't.
got-
She
Why can't she?
can't build, the only reason I could see that a use variance could be granted here is because this is business district zoned. We're not going to go beyond that because then there'd be no reason. Right now, because of the wetlands behind it, it's like you got this little plot right in the middle
Mhm.
that you can't go through, and nobody's going to put anything business on this.
No, I understand that. And even if she gets it zoned residential, that probably isn't a problem either because it's never going to pass another board. And I understand that, but there's no sense in changing the rules and saying, all right, let's make that residential. Because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Every time we turn around and grant her a variance, she's eventually going to say, well, this should be residential, and this should be residential, and this should be residential. It's just a way of getting it rezoned without going through the whole process of saying, let's rezone the whole area. It's just a process.
It's a process that there has to be legitimate reasons. I mean, again, we can only grant.
I can't say that this was I can't say, you decide, but is this a legitimate reason? Is this a legitimate reason to let Barnfield, Latola, who owns the entire town, let's take this one parcel and make this residential. She made the first 2 residential. She's looking to make this entire industrial. I'm sorry, but the town changed it. I didn't change it. The town changed it because Route 104 has turned into an industrial property. When I moved here, it wasn't. But this is the way it goes. And, I know it takes an act of God to change something to residential from industrial, but this is certainly a way to do it one lot at a time without getting a full lot changed or a full area changed.
Okay.
The whole lot, one by one by one by one. It's doable. So you can approve one lot and you might think it's making a residency looking better. I'm telling you, it's not. That's up to you.
Do we have any?
Okay. Have any what?
No, I was gonna say, if you have anything else, or, we'll hear from
Oh,
some.
I've got, I mean, I can't even tell you how much I've got. I've gone through pages and pages. I've got questions and questions, but it's not fair to ask the lawyer. I mean, Mrs. Latoya is probably the only one that can answer it. And where she keeps going back to her old plans, and referring to old plans when it just doesn't seem right. This should stand on its own. She should say, I want this because, but she's going back to old plans and she keeps referring to old things. And, this isn't standing on its own. It's just not. This is going to an old plan. It's referring to things from 2016. She's referring to Larry's old letters. She's referring to old compliances from, the planning board and the zoning commission and the Conservation Commission and everybody else. Like, this has all been approved. You should just give it to me because everybody else told you it's a good piece of property. It's not a good piece of property.
All I can tell you, Ms. Thompson, is that Thomas, excuse me, sorry, my bad. Is that
I just want everybody to know who I am because
with
I'll
all
just keep coming back and coming
I didn't
back
even
and
look
coming
at that
back.
stuff because, to your point, it's irrelevant to this. In my opinion, it's irrelevant to this situation. I have to look at this.
I understand. I know, I understand. I totally understand. And I'm not trying to get the zoning board to change their mind, but I'm just trying to put it in your head. This is what's going to happen. One by one by one by one, pieces of property are going to change from different zoning areas. You've already changed two, right beside her. She hasn't taken advantage of those two. And if these people come to you and, just spit in your face and say, we're not going to take the one you gave us. Now I want the one beside it. Now she's got three in a row.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, point of order. We've already gone over that part of the discussion, and it's really straying from the purpose of why we're here.
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Thomas.
I don't think it's irrelevant on why you're not here. If you're going back to old plans and discussing that, of course it's relevant.
We're not. For this particular parcel, the only thing we're looking at is this parcel. You are correct in your statements that she was granted variances before. One of them is lapsed, so that's gone. That is gone. She does not have a residential permit to build on that. It's gone. She wants, she would have to reapply and make an argument as to why it should be granted under the bylaws.
But when you ask her why she has a hardship, she refers to Larry Silver's statement in her first application under number 5. She wants that as her hardship.
But you also heard from her counsel today that has identified the reason for the hardship. So whatever she submitted in her application and pardon?
That doesn't apply anymore. So the zoning board,
she's going to have to get through all those permits. She's going to have to go through it all again. It's not going. So again, we're only here to determine whether there's a use variance. That's it. She's going to have to go through all those.
Her application was accepted with the other information, not with what came tonight. Her application came before zoning with the other information.
It may have been attached, but as I said, I didn't even look at it because it's not pertinent.
I didn't either.
Her application came before zoning and nobody looked at it?
I didn't look at the additional stuff that she added. It was not pertinent. I looked at the application as filed.
That's what I'm talking about, as it was filed. It was filed with C attached by Larry Silva.
Mr. Chairman, point of order, could we move on? We have several people waiting for an opportunity to speak.
If you have, Mr. Thomas, if you have anything additional that you haven't already said, I would love to hear it, but otherwise I would like to move on to some other people.
Move on, please. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Warshaw would like to speak again.
Jeremy?
Hi, I just, one quick thing. The hardship, didn't she create it herself by landlocking that?
What? Well, in my opinion, no. It's the hardship goes with the land. Where it's situated and what you can do with it, you can't drive through it. I don't, maybe you could get Concon to grant you a road access to the business use of it there. I think that would be worse than having a house, but that I don't know.
Okay.
Jen, anybody else?
I don't see anyone else. Jasmine, do you see anyone?
No, I don't see any hands raised, but if you're on the phone, it's *9, but I don't see any phone numbers either.
Is that someone or is it?
Someone just came in.
Is there someone looking to make a statement or ask a question or anything?
No, I don't see
anybody.
anyone.
All right, then if there's no additional input from the public, I'd like to get a motion to close the public question
So
period.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yuri?
Aye.
Anna? Aye.
Aye.
Again, I'm going to state my opinion of this, looking at it. I have to deal with what we have before us right now. And I'm looking at the property on Zoom, street level. I see where it is. You got the house to the right of this parcel. Behind it, my understanding is, looking at the maps, that there is wetlands back there, so it's non-buildable. This is business district. It could potentially get something permitted for business, but seeing where you got houses across the street, right to the left, a residential versus business to this would be, I think, a better use. That's my opinion. I'd like to hear from the other members of the board.
I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
Hannah?
I agree as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's never going to make everybody happy, but I'm trying to weigh the uses of this, potential uses of this property, and allowing an owner to actually use the property. If there are issues that would be created by the construction of residential property, those would have to, not passing the buck, but those are going to have to go to the different boards and commissions that have the jurisdiction over those. Ours is purely, do we grant the use variance or not? So I would request a motion from one of the board members.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the request. I agree with you. I believe it's in keeping with the surrounding neighborhood. I don't see that there would be a substantial detriment to the public good. And I do feel that the highest and best use would certainly be residential, as opposed to a business enterprise on that site. And granting of this does not allow, as you said, the ability to build. There's a long road ahead. So with that, I'd like to place that motion forward, Mr. Chairman.
I would second that motion.
All in favor? Jerry?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Myself, I would vote yes as well. So the motion for the use variance is granted. This time, motion to close the hearing on this application.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Jerry?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're all set with this one, Jen. Do we have the McElwain?
I'm not sure who's speaking.
Mr. Zeller?
Okay,
or-
Jenny.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt's here. He's on the road, so he's just listening in. Good evening, everyone, members of the board. My name is Jenny Smarkin. I work for Capstone Communities, and I am representing the developer of the McElwain School Apartments located at 242 and 250 Main Street. We have been on this path for quite some time, and I'm excited to announce that we are very close to closing the deal. We have our building permits in hand and hopefully starting construction very soon. So thank you for your continued help and support throughout this process. The reason we're here tonight is to make some clarifying points regarding the comprehensive permit. I have Julie Standy and Ruth Silman from Nixon Peabody here with me tonight, and they can elaborate a bit further on the issue at hand. So I will turn it over to them.
Thank you, Jenny. Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Ruth Silman from Nixon Peabody. You may recall I've had some mouth issues and tongue surgery, so thank you for bearing with me on my speech. If you can't understand me, give a wave and I'll go back. We're here really just for a request to clarify some of the conditions in the comp permit that was issued by the board that have to do with the local regulatory agreement. The comp permit requires that there be a local regulatory agreement for the tax credit purposes. Should the state agreement somehow terminate or not be effective. And some of the lenders involved in the deal, as they have been going through the permits and the comp permit in particular, noted that a very easy way to handle this is, instead of creating a new document, a new local regulatory agreement with Bridgewater that would sit on a shelf until we needed it, that we just use the existing the Chapter 40B rider to the state agreement in lieu of creating this new document. So the first request is that the board just assent to that as a form of a document. And we submitted a letter on May 5th with all the documents attached. The second item that we would request is, if you agree that that's a good idea, there is an acknowledgement that the zoning board chair would need to sign before we can close, just so that everybody's on the same page. And that's the last page of the package that was submitted to you, whatever it was submitted to you. I know sometimes these tax credit agreements get very, very difficult. Julie Sandy, my colleague, is here. We can try to answer any questions, but this is really just to try to clarify and streamline a future hypothetical situation.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Silman. We have gotten everything. We've all read through it. Town manager has read it. I think it, it does meet what you need it to. As a board, I don't think there's any objection to it. And I would again question Jerry and Anna. I mean, you guys have seen it. We spoke a little earlier. There's nothing in the agreement that I saw that wasn't true or wasn't part of the original comprehensive permit requirements. And my understanding is this is again a rider that's going to be filed and it's going to attach to the property. So it's like, hey guys, no matter what happens, this is a 40B.
Yep, that's correct. It'll be recorded.
Basically, that's it. So I don't think there's any issues.
Mr. Chairman, I would just state for the record too that Jennifer provided us two counselors who reviewed it, one of them being the town manager. And so I have no questions or issues with it.
Anna, just to confirm.
Yeah, I confirm, based on the representations of, the councils that have reviewed it, then it seems to meet the requirements and would be in agreement.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I did, but I read the whole thing.
You're an attorney and a CPA, that's why.
Wanted
You
to
do those things.
waste some time to work, I guess. So if we could have a motion to accept the filing, the signature and filing of the rider.
So
I would second that motion.
Okay. Jen, do you know, I leave early in the morning. This sucker's got to be notarized, and I can't notarize my own signature.
I'm a notary.
So am I.
So both Jasmine and I are notaries, and we've seen your signature. So I'm out until Monday. Jasmine's in tomorrow and Friday, but I'm certainly happy to meet you Monday after work. We can't really leave it for you because the building's closed, but we can arrange something.
I have the document, so I can print the page and sign it. That's not the issue. It's getting someone to notarize it.
Yeah.
And
So
you guys.
I mean, I've seen your signature and I'd be comfortable notarizing it after you sign it. But if you're more comfortable meeting me Monday evening, I'm happy to stay at work and meet you. So.
No, I to your point, you know my signature. If you want, you can call me and ask me if that is.
That nobody coerced you into signing it.
I'll see if I can find someone at work that is a notary. I think I'm the only one.
Okay.
But if I can get it notarized, I will and drop it off. Otherwise, I'll sign it and get it to you sometime. Maybe I can get someone to drop it off. The town hall's open during the week.
Yep. So Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, Friday, 8 to 1. That's when you can get in the building. But if you need like I said, different arrangements, you can just give us a call. We'll figure it out.
All right, I'll take care of signing it and getting it over to you. So
awesome.
Let everybody go enjoy their evening.
Mr. Chairman, we have to vote.
Sorry. But we have to vote on closing this matter. So a motion from the board to close this matter.
Actually, we have a motion on the floor to approve it.
We did.
Yes.
I did a roll call.
No, you didn't. You didn't actually take a roll call.
I'm doing too many roll calls. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I moved motion to accept the motion.
We already did that in the second.
Yeah. Okay.
We just need to call our names.
So roll call in favor. Jerry.
Aye.
Anna.
Aye.
Me. Aye. Okay. Motion passes.
Perfect.
All right.
Make a motion to close the meeting, the public portion of the meeting.
Sure.
So moved.
All in favor? Jerry.
Aye.
Anna. Jerry. Didn't hear?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. All right, everybody. Appreciate your time. We'll get this
Thank
taken.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next,
All right.
I think the only thing we have left on the agenda is the minutes.
Mhm.
So everybody's reviewed them, I'm sure. I mean, I
I
know you-
reviewed those as opposed to the whole packet.
just wanted to see what it said, And it said the same thing that the very first one said. The rider was like a rehash of it. So it was like, okay.
We all know that Brian has way too much free time now. So.
No,
He just pretends to be so busy.
That's right.
I stayed late last night knowing that I had this today. Fortunately, I get rid of my wife for 3 weeks, so I don't have to answer.
Well, I'm not sure she'd love that description.
Yes. She's out on the West Coast, so.
So things are getting done back at home.
Yeah, I hope so. All right. I think a motion to approve the minutes of the April 28th meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
Aye.
All in favor, Jerry?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Aye. So that goes and,
Motion to adjourn.
Well, so
Oh,
I
Community
just
Director.
have one thing I just want to chat with for 1 second. So I am for those of you who may not know, I'm getting married the first week of June and going on a honeymoon. So I'm going to be out of the office and out of work from June 2nd till June 20th. So that would include your June 9th meeting. Currently, we have nothing scheduled that day, so I don't know if the board wants to meet anyway, if something comes up, or if you'd like to cancel that meeting.
I vote we cancel it.
a motion for the bride-to-be to cancel the meeting.
Congratulations, Jennifer. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
You'll be available to us though, right? In case we need
No, I will
questions.
not. I made promises to my future husband that I will not work during the wedding or the honeymoon. So
All
That's a
right,
good
one
start, yeah.
question though. Where you going?
Yeah.
Key West,
Where?
Key West, Florida,
Oh.
Key West.
Wow,
That's
nice.
nice. I like it. It was fun.
I've never been, so it'll be, so
They've
we
rebuilt.
didn't want to go. We didn't want to go like out of the country or anything like that just yet. So
Yeah.
staying
I
kind
don't
of
blame
local.
you. I don't
Yeah.
blame you.
My wife went to see my daughter for a week and then they're going to Hawaii. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go because you can't do everything you want. So why am I going to spend all
Right.
that money to go do half the stuff I want to do?
Right. So
What
Well,
do you
we'll
wanna do
probably-
in Hawaii that you can't do? You sit on the beach and you drink pina coladas. Like, what is you can't do?
I was gonna say I might go to Hawaii if someone offered me that, but
Yeah, I'll take your spot, Brian. No problem.
Oh, I got my two daughters going, my wife and my son's girlfriend, all four of them. It's a girls' trip now. I
Wow.
take that credit and I put it in my pocket.
nice. All right, so we'll cancel the June 9th meeting. So you guys will meet if there's something on the agenda, which I don't think there is. Right, Jasmine? We have nothing has come in, right? So
Correct, nothing's
for
coming.
the next May meeting, so we may cancel that as well. So we may not see you again till June 23rd.
Works for me.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. We just need to adjourn.
But I guess, are we doing the discovery and then meeting again? Or no?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Oh, so in 2 weeks, yes, we will meet on that if Jason will get you guys all that stuff and if they come back in. Yeah, so we will probably meet in 2 weeks then. You're right. I'm sorry, I already forgot about it. See?
That's an easy one. That's you know.
Yeah, that should be quick.
All right. All right, so we will do that in 2 weeks, but there's no like real applications before you guys or anything. So
Perfect.
So we'll just do that executive session.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Works for me.
Thanks, guys.
all right, have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Motion to
Thank you.
adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
I can,
Bye.
all in favor? Jerry?
Aye. Aye.
Anna?
Bye.
Aye.
So long, everybody.
I keep,
Bye.
I got to do the roll call, you know? So.
I know.